A lot of great content creators and marketers in 2026 are completely missing the plot. They're obsessed with the idea of finding a moat. How do you separate yourself from the competition? How do you separate yourself from every other person posting content out there and make it such a big gap that nobody can touch you? After all, that's what a moat is physically. But they're looking for a moat in all the wrong places. For example, AI. Every single person and their mom is trying to get ahead in the AI gold rush. I actually don't even believe it's AI. I think that's a marketing spin that people like OpenAI and Anthropic have told you in order to get you to believe it's stronger than it actually is. I think it's an LLM, not artificial intelligence, but that's a conversation for a different time. A lot of people think that just spamming AI tools or LLMs is going to be the thing that gets them separation from the competition, but that's not the case because they're looking at the marketing process backwards. Instead of finding a valuable problem and creating a valuable solution that's unique to them, they're finding a tool, getting starry-eyed over how capable it seems, and then trying to force feed that into people's businesses, trying to make it look more valuable than it is. The real moat in 2026 and beyond is something far simpler and something far more powerful than you could possibly imagine. In fact, most people don't even scratch the surface on their capabilities in this area. In fact, most people don't even look. They don't even see what the thing is in order to actually scratch the surface and then go deeper. The real moat in marketing and content in 2026 and beyond is your inner state. What's your energetic state? What's your frequency? What is your conditioning? Are you consciously choosing your own conditioning? Because the creators I see right now who are blowing up in the worst algorithm of all time and the hardest time to market because the market is so saturated, and not just blowing up for the sake of blowing up, but getting a bunch of leads, getting qualified prospects to look at their page and actually growing their business sustainably and in some cases quickly, are the ones who've cultivated a very deep sense of who they are. They've done a lot of inner work. They've done breath work. They've done journaling. They've done meditation. They've been on retreats. They've fasted. I could go down the list of inner work modalities you could do. Ayahuasca, DMT. They've done a lot of exploration in their inner landscape. I've also seen major benefits myself because my number one focus so far in 2026 has been my internal state as well. Ever since I had the deep intention to leave my job, and they ended up firing me sooner than I wanted to leave, which is hilarious. God gave me a nice little push onto my own path. I've been able to almost replace that monthly salary of the last payment they gave me in the month of April alone. As of filming, it's April 9th, so we have 21, I think? Yeah, 21 more days left in the month. So things are looking pretty good, and I can really feel visceral momentum building on my side. In this video, I'm going to explain 4 spiritual principles you can apply to your business right now in order for you to start greasing the wheels on your own 10x jump, on your own quantum leap, on your own exponential improvement. These 4 principles come from one of my favorite books of all time, Reality Transurfing, which is a behemoth of a book. It's like 500 to 600 pages, and it's not something that you can just fly through. It's very dense. It takes a while to consume and to actually digest. If you've never heard of the book, it's written by this physicist, Vadim Zeland, and in my words, I would say it's the most efficient way to create your own desired reality. Principle number 1. Understand what the alternatives field is. This is one of the most groundbreaking ideas in the book, and it's something that completely blew my mind because reality doesn't work in the way that we're taught, in the way that we think, linear timing. I do this, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. It's a timeline in which a sequence of events happen in chronological order. One of the fundamental teachings of quantum physics is that for every single scenario you can imagine, there is a universe. There is a dimension where that is currently happening right now. And so instead of you thinking, oh man, I'm poor, I need to become rich, I need to do a bunch of things in order to get rich, there is a moment happening right now in this moment where you are rich, where you have tens of millions of dollars. It's not your job to try to fight and grit and hustle and white knuckle the steering wheel into making $10 million. Rather, it is your job to find a lifeline that gets you over to the reality of being your $10 million self as easily as possible. The more you think of something happening out in the future, the more you're actually going to push it out of reach, because there's no such thing as the future. There's no such thing as the past. Time is completely man-made. All we have is the present. If you tell yourself, oh, it's out there, your mind's going to continue to project it away from you. If you act as if you already have the thing and get in the frequency of that reality and get in the energetic state aligned with that reality, it's much more likely to come much quicker. There's another idea about the alternative space that I found to be very groundbreaking. It's the one thing I remember most about the book, is that everything can coexist at once. There is an infinite amount of paradoxes, there's an infinite amount of realities, there's an infinite amount of views and experiences happening all at once. How I experience reality is not going to be the same as how you experience reality, how your parents experience it, how your friends experience it. And so it's kind of funny that human beings get locked into this very rigid way of viewing the world and truth and reality. It must adhere to this set of guidelines, this set of rules, and it cannot deviate out from those lines. It can't color outside the lines at all. It can't deviate from that structure. It can't deviate from that framework. Mathematicians don't say stuff like, algebra exists, therefore calculus doesn't exist. Scientists don't say things like, chemistry exists, therefore biology does not exist. And yet, when it comes to psychology or spirituality or our mental models for how we view the world, morality, and how we should live our lives, humans get really stuck into this siloed, rigid way of thinking of, my belief is true, therefore your belief is false. There's nothing I can take from your way of thinking. There's nothing I can take from your way of life, from your background, from your culture, that would be relevant to me or other people at all. So how does this apply to business? Because there are so many ways to build your business, to make content, and to attract people to your offer. The people telling you that organic content is dead are wrong. The people telling you that ads are dead are wrong. The people that are telling you you should only be doing cold outreach are wrong. The people that are telling you you should only be posting viral content are wrong. That doesn't mean there's no value or no merit or no credit to what these people are saying. These are all valid ways to find customers. These are all valid ways to build your business. But to say it's the only thing you should be doing is absolutely ridiculous. Here's something I want you to remember. Like, really deeply internalize this and write this down. The gurus, the business experts, the coaches, the content creators, even myself, talking to you and telling you what you should do are just people. There is no difference between you watching this on the other end of the screen and myself. There's no difference between you and somebody like Hormozy. There's no difference between you and somebody like Gary Vee. These people telling you how you should build your business are telling you things that worked for them. Their specific personality, their specific skills, their specific life experiences, their specific worldviews. Your job is to find strategies that work for you. Your job is to find things you can do consistently for long periods of time that get results and you have fun doing. Business is like the alternatives field. Every single path to building your business already exists right now. It's not your job to try to hustle and grit and grind your way to success. Rather, to find methods that align with your unique abilities, your unique makeup, and use them efficiently, use them to the best of your ability. If something doesn't light you up, if something doesn't put you in an attractive, energetic state or an energetic frequency, it's not going to attract as many people as you want. This is one of my biggest gripes with the online space. A lot of these gurus, content creators, influencers, coaches act as if their audience is full of fucking morons, and they encourage you to act as if your audience is full of idiots as well. They don't focus on things like deep connection or seeing the person on the other end of the screen or actually understanding what's going to pierce through the noise and be something they want to continue to watch enthusiastically. They're focused on gamifying content and hacking the algorithm, which is why we're in a trust recession. Find what works for you. Find what you find interesting. Find what you enjoy doing. Find what you want to get lost in a rabbit hole on, and focus on connecting with people deeply. There's another human being on the other end of the screen watching this video. Hi, nice to meet you. There's another human being on the end of the screen of when you get in front of camera to film and post content. You cannot expect them to buy from you. You cannot expect them to resonate deeply with what you're saying. You cannot expect them to want to watch you more if you're not focused on connecting with them and having a deep shared experience. Building desire with your content is easy. People need to know you, they need to like you, they need to trust you. They need to know you exist, so you need to post consistently. They need to like you, so you need to connect with them on a deep level and show your personality and again, be consistent, and they need to trust you. You need to show social proof. You need to show proof of your capabilities. If you're struggling with the know, like, trust factor, it's very simple. 3 things. Connect with them deeply, work on shifting their beliefs, and showing them how they're viewing the world as wrong and what to do instead, and show them proof of your capabilities. Everything can work. Even the things that I make fun of, like taking the most viewed videos in your niche and throwing it into ChatGPT and getting a template. That shit can work. I just don't think that's the most efficient way of doing things, because if everybody's putting the same videos, the same inputs into this LLM that's trained to write content based on what it's seeing and what it's being given, everybody's going to start sounding the exact same, and that's what builds resistance in your audience. I'm currently building my business in a way that eliminates sales calls for my process. I don't mind getting on calls with people. In fact, for the most part, I really like it. But I want to do so without having to sell somebody. I want to do so to connect with people. I want to have a genuine interaction with them and ask them about themselves, their life, and go back and forth without knowing, like, okay, this is how I got to structure it. This is how I have to frame it. This is how I have to sell them. And some people would tell me that's fucking stupid. And to that, I would say, you're allowed to have your opinion. I don't fucking care. I've seen videos of people say, like, oh, you shouldn't sell with an offer doc. That's ridiculous. You should not be selling over the DMs. You have to be selling on a sales call. You have to be doing this. That is their worldview. That is their viewpoint of the alternative space. That is their unique perspective on one slice of the pie of this entire world we call business, of this entire world we call marketing, content. There are other people who think selling on sales calls is stupid. So how do you know who to listen to? Easy. You go inward. You get still, you sit with yourself in silence, and you figure out, you get really, really fucking clear on what you want to build, on who you want to be in your business, what you want your lifestyle to look like, and you build your business around that. If you aren't willing to look at yourself as an inner authority, mentorship is useless. Absolutely useless. If all you're doing is going to other people and paying them to give you better advice and to fix you, and you're not actually willing to look and be like, does this align with what I want? Does this resonate with the thing I'm trying to build? Does this give me the best possible outcome, the best possible life, the most leverage in the long run, and I'm actually happy with it? If that's not the case, if you're not doing that and actually reflecting on your own internal process, do not get mentors. Do not sign up for coaching. It'll be a waste of your fucking time, and you'll be subconsciously hoping that these people fix you, and they can't. Everything can coexist together. Algebra exists, calculus also exists. Biology exists, physics exists. You building your business from organic content mainly and selling in the DMs can exist. You selling on sales calls and running ads can exist. You just need to figure out what you want to do, what you want to build, and what you want to see out there in the world. There are always going to be general principles that help you get closer to your goal with anything. Moving more and eating less is going to help you lose weight. Eating more protein is going to help you build muscle. You can't just drink soybean oil and have a red 40 IV drip in your arm and be like, I'm going to look like Arnold because of the alternatives field space. Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is get really clear on the kind of business you want. Find the principles that align with that. It's going to be so much more efficient than you worrying about the best vehicle, the best way to make things work. Do what speaks to your soul. Do what speaks to your heart. Do what makes you feel alive. Do what makes you feel like you're on fire. Other people will feel that through the screen. Principle 2, stay away from pendulums. Pendulums in reality transurfing are one of the most insidious things that can derail your progress. A pendulum is an invisible, self-sustaining energy thought structure that is created from collective human thought focused on a single idea. Said more simply, it's an energy structure with a single desired outcome fueled by human thoughts that has no regard for your well-being or any of the other individuals that are a part of it. Some great examples include politics, celebrity worship, religion. There is a very fine line to walk and balance with this concept. Of course, if you're in a country that's about to go into civil war, you shouldn't be like, la 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 la, can't hear you, can't see, and there's like bombs going off in the background in your house, and you're just like dancing with your headphones on. Like, of course, don't do that. The way a pendulum gets you is by sucking your energy out of you, by getting you completely hooked, dependent, and energetically involved in what they're doing. So some people think they're freedom fighters by fighting the machine, by fighting the power, by fighting the government. But in most cases, not all, being very specific with my language here, most cases, I would argue overwhelming majority of cases, you fighting against the government is falling victim to the pendulum because it wants you to focus on it, whether you're focused on it in a good way or a bad way. You getting super angry and worked up over celebrity worship or how degenerate culture has become and getting so sucked into this vortex is getting hooked on a pendulum. I'm really inconsistent with how I'm pronouncing pendulum. I'll keep going back and forth. You guys will just have to deal with it. Getting sucked into your religion to the point where all you do is look for rules to follow is getting hooked onto a pendulum. Now, this does not mean you should not be spiritual. You should not be religious. You should not love Jesus or God or whatever spiritual path is laid out for you on the religion that aligns with your purpose, with your life. This doesn't mean you should get rid of all awareness around politics and culture and have no idea what's happening at any point in time. What it does mean is that you need to be very mindful of how you're tied energetically to these things, because your energy is your most important resource. It's not your time, it's your energy, it's your focus. It's finite every single day. And if you're feeding your energy into this pendulum, all it's doing is using you to self-sustain without any regard for how you feel. It's why so many people feel complete despair about the state of the world in 2026, because we have so much access to what's going on in every single country in the world. There's more news outlets than ever. There's more abilities to see what's going on in other countries with social media, journalism, talking to people. We're all so connected. And so many people feel like absolute fucking garbage because they're locked in on the news cycle 24/7. It's why some of the people I know who are the most miserable are the people who cannot break free from the rules of the faith that they're in. They can't think past what their priest told them. They're not willing to question what they've been given because they're afraid to analyze what they really believe. They're afraid to go in within themselves and understand what they're really looking for. Here's how this applies to business. You are being sucked into pendulums without even knowing it. Every time you scroll your feed to do market research and an hour goes by where all you did was watch videos and feel jealous of other creators for having more views than you, that's a pendulum. Every time you watch a guru or a coach or an influencer and take what they say as gospel without running it through your own internal filtering system and having the courage to ask, is this true for me? That is a pendulum. Every time you place somebody else's opinion above your own in terms of importance, in terms of moral worth, that is a pendulum. Again, this doesn't mean that you don't get coaches. This doesn't mean you don't get mentors. This doesn't mean you don't inform yourself, watch content that's actually giving you valuable insights. This doesn't mean don't go down rabbit holes. What this means is, what is the energetic place that you're coming from when you're watching this content? If all you do is convince yourself you're doing research and then you get jealous and you get upset when you see people with more views, with more followers, with more money, you're hooked into a pendulum. If you look at other people's content, if you look at other creators in your niche and come out feeling more inspired, more confident in what you want to do, and there's a very clear path to you using this in a creative sense, that is a good thing. Something I've done to lower my risk of getting hooked into pendulums is I just unfollowed a lot of people in my industry because I'm like, I don't need to constantly see this over and over and over. And the odds of me feeling worse about myself by just staying stuck on this is going to increase. Something reality transurfing talks about is not getting frustrated if you happen to see a pendulum in the wild. So if an influencer you unfollowed, you see them in your explore feed, don't go shaking your fist and getting pissed off at them. Just let it move past you. You can see a valuable tidbit from a creator you don't like that much on somebody else's story and go, wow, that's actually quite valuable and insightful. Thanks, interesting, and then just move on. Focus on protecting your energy. Don't get stuck on things that don't have your best interest in mind. Don't project your own insecurities onto other people and then get stuck in this loop of anger, comparison, and jealousy. That will absolutely fuck up your content. Principle 3, importance. The more importance you assign to something, the more you push it away, and the less likely you are to actually achieve it. Importance in this sense doesn't mean something that you want to do. It doesn't mean something that you're interested in. It doesn't mean something that you know will make a big difference in your life. Importance applies to how big you make it in your mind and how much you attach to the idea of you needing to have it. A great analogy for this is dating. If you pedestalize somebody, if you see them as this figure that you don't deserve to be around and you can't possibly touch, and you need their approval. You need them to like you. You need them to give you validation. They're not going to want to go out with you. Every goal in business is like that. And this is something I struggled with early in my career because I wanted people to like me so badly. I wanted to go viral so badly, but I won't even let myself admit that to myself. It was this weird like back and forth internally with, I don't want that. No, I actually do. No, I don't. It's stupid. And because I had all these conflicting desires and this weird attachment to other people's opinions, it didn't put me on the effortless quantum leap efficient route. Let yourself want what you want, but don't attach importance to it. In the book, they talk about excess importance. Let yourself desire what you desire, but as soon as there's excess importance, balancing forces will come to balance that out. Said more simply, if you want something too badly, you'll push it away, and that will create a balance from how badly you wanted the thing in an unaligned manner. When I was a kid, I had this newspaper clipping of the 2010 NBA Finals above my bed, specifically Game 7 where the Lakers beat the Celtics. It was like a really low-scoring affair. I think it was like 93-89, if I remember the score correctly. And it was a really great series, went the distance. Kobe, Gasol, Garnett, Pierce, Rondo. Oh, it was a great, awesome series, loaded with stars, back and forth, really exciting. Fun basketball until Game 7. Game 7 was a great game, but it wasn't fun. Like, it was a dogfight. It wasn't very high scoring. Both teams shot poorly. And specifically, Kobe shot fucking terribly. He shot 6 of 24. He only made 1 out of every 4 shots. If you're not a basketball fan, that's absolutely fucking terrible. Like, really, really, really bad. Especially in Game 7 of the finals. And I bring this up because in that newspaper clipping, Kobe talks about how he wanted this one really badly. And sometimes when you want things really badly, they start to slip away from you. People can feel that in your content. People can feel that in your business. If you need other people to buy from you, they're not going to buy from you. Oh, but I want them to buy from me. That's okay. Let yourself want that. But don't need it to happen for validation. Don't need it to happen to achieve some goal in your mind or to live up to some idea of who you thought you needed to be or who you think you are. Sell your product or service because it's going to make a difference in people's lives. Create content because you love talking about the thing you do. Create content because you love communicating to people. Create content because you want other people to win. You want people to watch your page, feel inspired, feel good about themselves, feel hopeful about the world, and make a fucking massive difference in their life. That's why you should create content. That's why you should create your business. If you're not in this game to make a massive transformation in other people's lives, if you're not in this game to make a fucking dent in the world in a positive way, people can feel that. And it's a big reason why online marketing gets such a bad name, because there's a low barrier of entry. That means any motherfucker with a laptop and 2 brain cells can put together a landing page, can film content, can throw ads together, and a lot of people get into it with bad intentions. A lot of people get into it for selfish reasons. They're trying to run up their bag as much as possible without any regard for your well-being and what you want. That's also a pendulum, by the way. The key to building a moat is by getting separation from the rest of the market. And if most of the market is people who don't know what they're doing, people who are going to quit, people who have not thought about this on a deep level, or people who have massive importance, they're attached to the idea of succeeding and making money, your moat is in detaching from the outcome. Your moat is in cultivating more depth. Your moat is in focusing on the transformation of your audience's lives and really wanting to give that to them without needing them to give back to you. The moat is not the next evolution of some fancy LLM that you can just buy for $30 and concoct some giant structure of automations and convince people it's worth $5,000 a month. Let yourself want what you want, but don't need it for validation, and don't attach to the idea of it needing to look a certain way, or you needing to make a certain amount of money from it, or people needing to buy from you. And finally, principle number 4, inner intention versus outer intention. I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of setting intentions. You want something, you don't want to attach to it too much, so you have a goal to go out and get it. Reality transurfing splits intention up into 2 sections, outer and inner. Outer is a concept that you're probably more familiar with. You want something, you set a goal to go achieve it, and then you take action to go and get that goal. And that can be helpful, it can work, but it's not nearly as efficient as the idea of inner intention. Inner intention is understanding the energetic state, vibration, and frequency of the thing you desire, and aligning your internal state to be coherent with that. Then you let the outside world reconfigure to match your own internal state. You're not going out and hustling and grinding and trying to achieve something. You are letting the universe work in your favor and bend over backwards for the thing you desire deeply in your heart. Inner intention does not work if you place too much importance on the thing you want. So clarity and detachment are very important here. This might sound way too metaphysical and way too woo-woo, but I want you to think about somebody you know in your life who seems to just get it. They put something together and people want it. They post content and it bangs. It gets a lot of engagement. It goes viral. The reason that happens is because they're in deep alignment with the thing they want. Whether they're conscious of this or not, they understand the vibration, the frequency, and the energetic state of the things they desire, and they are completely in coherence with that thing. Some people do this unconsciously. It helps way more to be very, very conscious of this process, of course. Your job is to get super clear with what you want. How much money do you want to be making a month? How many clients do you want? How many followers do you want? How many views do you want to get on your videos? How many shares do you want on your videos? And then get in the frequency, get in the vibration, get into the energetic state that aligns with those things. The creators who have an abundance of leads, an abundance of cash flow, an abundance of followers, shareable content, views, and people engaging with their stuff are the ones who are super conscientious of what it takes energetically to get there, what kind of vibration they need to be on in order to achieve that, and what frequency those things look like so they can align their inner state with it. If you have coherence with the things you want and act as if it's already here, it will show up much quicker than you realize. This is why I started with the alternatives field. If you understand how reality works, if you understand that everything is happening right now, you just need to get to the timeline, you need to get to the wave of your desired outcome. If you understand how pendulums work so you can protect your energy and stay focused on what you're trying to achieve, if you understand the importance of importance and staying detached and coming from a place of service, getting the concept of inner intention is much easier, and the actual process of doing so becomes effortless. But that's today's video. I won't go in too much detail outside of that. We've covered a lot today. If you want a video going more in the weeds of how to stop playing small and live these principles I've talked about, just like this video, drop a comment. I'm gonna be honest, I'll probably make it anyways, even if you don't do those things. But please do it anyways, just for funsies. And yeah, if you are interested in learning how to add more money with your video content and you'd like my support with that, reach out on Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I'll help you out. And if not, and you just want more free content, a video will pop up here on the videos, on the screen soon. And you can just click there and get some more free sauce. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.